100 to 1 when fourth and staying on really eye-catchingly at Newcastle. Gets in here off a mark of 67, which should make him very competitive, and the step up in trip looks likely to really suit. The only thing that slightly worried me was his tactical speed, early speed, but he'll have to be more streetwise here, and he's interesting.
Blinkers for the first time are used on Nas from the Ed Dunlop yard.
Yeah, very disappointing in soft ground at Hamilton over 8 furlongs at the beginning of the month. Handicap debut with a bit to prove. Placed on his debut at 3 back in April. Difficult to assess. Market might give us information.
Tom Eves seen to good effect on Jack Louis in our previous race. Takes them out here on Curl, who is 0 from 7.
Looks pretty exposed here against some likely improvers, so a watching brief.
Yeah, let's take then a show of betting with Angus.
Runners beginning to arrive down at the start. Labinas 9 to 4, Rust 5 to 1, 11 to 2 Rex Whistler, Curl 13 to 2, 8 Cinder Slipper, Tom's Anna 12s, 14s and bigger the rest. Lads, I just want to make a quick case for Curl, who standout effort came last October at Doncaster in a maiden when wearing the blinkers. A really good performance that day when 5th of 15 over a mile behind the Lark. Looks like a pretty good performance. Hasn't had the blinkers on since, but they're back on today.
Interesting money coming for one of the Ann Duffield runners, Rust. Evelyn Duchess of Sutherland's colours being carried by PJ MacDonald on this one. And 3 runs last year showed promise and filled the placings on each of those outings.
Yeah, and handicap debut today off a mark of 70, but it's interesting the money's come for this because you don't generally leave it behind this yard.
This is Musselburgh in the autumn.
This is her last start on the 15th of October on soft ground, so we know he copes with that. He's a colt by Nadim, and the form of this is not the strongest, but he's stepping up. He's stepping up into handicap company, and off a mark of 70, you'd need to find some improvement on this mark, you'd have to say, but that from 2 to 3, that can happen, and he might have strengthened over the window. He's quite a nice physical specimen as well.
He's been gelded as well since last season, I think. He's now a gelding anyway, and PJ MacDonald taking the ride on Rust. Cinder Slipper and Duffield's other runner here, ridden by £7 claimer Rowan Scott. You preferred the form CV, did you, of Cinder Slipper?
Well, I did, and also her liking for these sort of conditions with cut underfoot. I think the step up in trip will suit, and she ran really nicely when third by High's Life at Beverley back in April. I think she's one of the likely improvers. I'm not very happy about the drift of Tom's Anna. That alarms me a little bit because I thought she would be
14 to 1 looks huge.
14 to 1 now and markedly drifting, so I'd be concerned about that.
Go back to the favourite, La Bienna's 2 to 1 favourite for the David Lanigan yard. 5th on his reappearance at Lingfield, 1 on the same course last back end. For me, was the pick of the paddock.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the ratings of the horses that finished in front of him. Mission Approved rated 82, the second rated 76, the fourth rated 73, and he would have been right in there in that finish had he got a little bit of room. So he sets the standard without a doubt. I would think he's probably the most likely winner as well.
And if he does win, keep an eye out for Ponty tomorrow night on Racing UK, because Mission Approved actually runs there. Labienne's then the 2 to 1 favourite. Rust, still more money coming for Rust, 9 to 2. Rex Whistler is 11 to 2. Let's have another word about Rex Whistler.
Interesting because he really caught the eye, finishing very strongly. He just was a little bit what I would call green on and off the bridle, but then when the penny dropped, he finished really strongly at Newcastle. That was on good ground. This is good to soft ground. I'm sure that won't inconvenience him. The step up in trip will really suit him, and off a mark of 67, I think he'll be competitive. You need to see him build on that run. That's my only concern. He'd have to build on that, because there were signs of greenness, and you'd hope with that run under his belt he would definitely improve.
Yeah, 67 certainly a workable mark, and the straight mile here will be a fairly straightforward affair, I would imagine. Stalls again in the centre of the course, horses likely to all come down at the middle. Likely winner, Paul?
I think this is the right favourite. Labienus, I think, is probably the most likely winner.
Back up to Martin.
Thanks, Tom. Curl to complete the lineup. Last one walking in. Gates are shut. And they're off. Jump away to race over a mile for the Watch Racing UK on Sky 432 handicap, a qualifier in the Straight Mile Championship Series. And it sees Tom Zanna jump out at the head of affairs with Cinder Slipper in the stripes giving chase. Labienus has settled in third. The pace is quite strong as Tom Zanna's going hard at it through the first couple of furlongs. Rust in a white sleeve jacket away to the right is racing prominently, and Curl, who wears a sheepskin noseband and a striped sleeve jacket, is racing a little isolated but in close attendance to the leaders. Nars is declining the early gallop, so too is Rex Whistler, held up in the last trio alongside Lady Margot, and Midnight Warrior has dropped out last. They've gone through the first 3 furlongs. Tom Zanna and David Allen a length in front of Cinder Slipper in the stripes. Curl towards the left is running a close third, with Rust in fourth. Labienus is next, black jacket, yellow cap. After those is Nars in the purple and red from Rex Whistler, who's been shaken up to get a bit closer as they enter the last 2.5 furlongs. Tom Zanna off the bridle in front, and Cinder Slipper has now picked up the running in the centre with the stripes. Labienus is being produced to come and challenge. Away to the right, Nars is picking the leaders up as well as they race with a furlong and a half to go. It's pretty wide open. Away to the extreme right, Nars has just about picked it up with Labienus in the centre. Rex Whistler coming after the front too. Labienus beginning to go after Nars, who's gone clear on the far side, but Phil Makin's ride is not stopping. It's Nars by 2.5 lengths to Labienus, whose rider accepts defeat close home. Nars beat Labienus. Rex Whistler staying on in third in front of Curl and Rust, and they were followed in by Midnight Warrior.
Blinkers for the first time, handicap debut for Nars, and he wins this at 20-1 for Ed Dunlop and for Philip Makin, and beats the favourite Labienus, whose head carriage looked a tiny bit high, but he lacked the commitment of the winner when it came to the crunch.
Well, the blinkers have certainly sharpened this horse up. He was disappointing at Hamilton on the 5th of May. They put the blinkers on to make him concentrate, and he's just sluiced away from these. And as you can see, I was worried about the head carriage of Labienus beforehand, and he just doesn't look the most resolute, to be honest with you. A better and again running quite green Rex Whistler, but when the penny will drop one day with this horse, and I'm sure he'll have his day winning. Pace fraction set, generally held up. Tom Zanna makes the running here, and unfortunately she fades at the furlong mark. You can just see here Labienus, his just head carriage is just a little bit high.
Yeah, they've gone a good clip here. Tom Zanna doing plenty up front, rolling along there under David Allen, followed by Cinder Slipper, who holds every chance later on. Stablemate of Cinder Slipper just in behind them is Rust in the Duchess of Sutherland's colours, the red with the white sleeves, and the winner given a patient ride.
Yes, come from off the pace, covered up very nicely by Philip Makin, and just gets a lovely toe in, and you can just see blue colours being niggled, a little bit of greenness. Rex Whistler with the noseband, he's about to make his challenge. The front runners now just start to squeeze, and but the eventual winner, you can see their red cap blinkers, is travelling very much sweeter than he did at Hamilton.
Certainly is, and Phil just eases him into the race in a moment. You'll see him, he's virtually blinded from us, but as he starts to pull him out now and just sets him alight, makes his mind up for him, he soon goes about his job.
Yeah, they've really woken him up, and it's